Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Crypto Stu here in the Crypto Stu studio. I wanted to tell you guys a story of an addiction I once had. I was once horribly addicted, and it cost me a lot of money, and this is a money channel, so I figure that's what we do here. So I once had a terrible addiction when I was in college, and I spent quite a bit of money on it, and I wanted to talk about it. And my addiction was to pinball. Not just pinball, but the Addams Family pinball machine. And here it is right here. One semester in college, I must have put $500 in quarters in this machine. And I remember my goal was for all the high scores on the high scoreboard to be mine. And I knew that once I had done that, I always liked playing a video game till I beat it. And then I considered this like a video game. And so I figured if I ever had all the scores on the high scoreboard be my scores, then I'd be done with it. I would have beaten the game. And it took me all semester, and finally one evening I remember I had done it. All I think it's 5, maybe 6 high scores on the high scoreboard were all Crypto Stew. And I was done. I walked away from the game. And this was the damnedest thing happened. They kept the machine in the school lunchroom, campus cafeteria. And I went there the next day to have lunch, and the machine was gone. I mean, it was as if they knew that I was done with it. I wasn't going to put any more money in it, and they just hauled it away. I mean, obviously, I understand it's just a striking coincidence, but that's all it is. The day after I had accomplished my goal, the machine was never to be seen again. They didn't bring it somewhere else. It was just gone, and whoever owned the machine just moved it on to somewhere else. And I never saw it again. But I never forgot her. And the years went by, and I got it in my head that I wanted to own an Addams Family pinball machine. This is years after I graduated school. And I decided to save my change to buy an Addams Family pinball machine. At the time, the machines were a good quality one, was going for about $6,000. And I did the math on pocket change. I just thought it would be cool to buy a pinball machine with pocket change because you put pocket change in a pinball machine. I think you get where I'm going with that. So I wanted to use my change to buy the pinball machine, but I did the math on how long that would take, and it would just be forever. I'd be an old man. So I decided once I had half the money it takes to own the Addams Family pinball machine, then I would put the other half in on the side. And so once I saved up enough change to have half the money for the Addams Family pinball machine, I would then buy the Addams Family pinball machine. So when I started saving, the machine was worth about $6,000. And this is one of the dumbest things I've ever done with money, and this is a money channel, so let's talk about it. Here is what I did. That is about 12 years of my pocket change. There's no pennies in there. It's all nickels, quarters, and dimes. And I saved my change for about 12 years. It was a really stupid thing to do, and I realized that later on, especially after I got into Bitcoin and stuff, I realized how dumb this was, and I cashed it out. And if you wanted an illustration of how stupid that is, when I started saving these coins, an Addams Family pinball machine cost about $6,000. When I cashed these out, and to this day, an Addams Family pinball machine currently goes for about $16,000. So I was never going to save enough to even get to half of the machine because the machine just keeps going up in price. I equate this to what's going on with people who are trying to save up to have a down payment for a house. As they save, the money they're saving just becomes worth less and less, and the price of the house that they want to buy keeps going up, and they can't get to the amount they need. This is pretty much what happened with my change. I feel terrible for those people, by the way, those people who are trying to save up for a house, and the house prices keep going up. And if I could push a button and make even though I own some real estate, if I could push a button and make the real estate market go down 40%, I would push it, because it's not right, it's not fair, and it doesn't make any sense how much real estate's gone up. I mean, it makes sense because they keep printing dollars, but I hate what it's done to younger people who are starting out, who are trying to save up for a home. it's easy to feel hopeless when you just keep saving. What I wish I had done instead of this, let's go back to the picture. What I wish I had done, obviously, if every time I had, like, I don't know, 20, 30 bucks worth, if I had cashed that out and bought, some gold, or, well, you can't really buy gold for 30 bucks, but I could have bought silver eagles with this money as I was accruing. It's fine to save your change. It's not fine to save up this much change. You should be cashing out regularly so that the inflation doesn't eat away at it. I look at this and I don't think about how much money I saved. I think about how much money I lost, because inflation was just eating away at this money the entire time I was saving it. I saved this money for anywhere from around 11 years, if I had to guess. And it was a really stupid thing to do. What I should have done is see this Cuervo 1800 bottle. Every time this was full, I never should have had these other bottles. Every time this was full, I should have just cashed it out. Now, if you are looking for a good bottle for saving change, these are perfect. At least, when I started doing it many, many years ago, it was because it's one of the few booze bottles that has a mouth wide enough to take a quarter. Most booze bottles aren't. So if you are looking to save a little bit of your change, these are perfect for that. There are very few booze bottles that that can take quarters, and this one can. But in general, my advice is don't save your change. Actually, obviously now, back then, silver would have been the best place to put this as I was going along. But obviously now, Bitcoin. If I was doing this in Bitcoin, I'd be a trillionaire because Bitcoin was so cheap when I was saving this money. But I wasn't into Bitcoin back then. But so what I would do now, if I was somebody saving my change, is every time a little bit was saved up, I would cash it out and either put it into silver or Bitcoin. And it's a much better way of saving money than this, because I understand the forced, painless savings of saving your change, but saving up this much change was really dumb. I really regret it. I think it cost me a lot of money. So if I were giving out advice, my advice would be to not do this.
Don't be like me, ese. Don't live in regret.
Alright, I figure by this point in the video, maybe 20 people are listening to this. So if you're one of those 20 people, then you are a true member of the Crypto Stew family. And if you're listening to this, then I would like to say thank you. So here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to be giving away some Bitcoin for the first time in my life. I have never parted with any Bitcoin I've ever acquired. Every bit of Bitcoin I've ever acquired is still with me. I've always saved it. I never part with it. But I feel like this is worth it. So one of you listening will be receiving some of my Bitcoin. So this is how, but how will we do it? This is how we're going to do it. Tell me how much money is in this picture. And so all of you can guess, all 20 of you or so can guess how much money is in this picture. If anyone guesses the amount right on the nose, like the exact amount of money that's in this picture, then I will give them $500 in Bitcoin. If anyone can guess within $50 of the amount that I cash this out for without going over, I will send them $100 in Bitcoin. If anybody can guess within $100 of the amount that's in this picture without going over, then I will send them $50 in Bitcoin. And if nobody meets any of those criteria, then I will send whoever is closest to the real number without going over, I will send them $20 in Bitcoin. So how are we going to do this? Well, it's very simple. You'll comment below with your guess and the Bitcoin address where you'd like me to send your Bitcoin. If you don't have a Bitcoin address, that's no problem. Just go to your Play Store or your iStore and on your phone and type in Bitcoin wallet, and a bunch of them will come up. You pick one and then you use that address. And only one guess per account. Now also, I'm going to give out the Bitcoin in about 2 weeks. But in those 2 weeks, I'm going to make 2 more videos. And in those 2 videos, in each one of those videos, I will be giving a hint as to how much, that will make it easier to guess how much money is here. So what I would recommend doing is listening to those 2 videos, getting those 2 hints, and then making your guesses. But you can do whatever you want. For reference, this is a 750 milliliter Cuervo 1800 bottle. So in case, because everything's relative, just so you can get some idea, there's only nickels, quarters, and dimes here. There are no pennies. And so that is my challenge. I have a bunch of other ways to give away Bitcoin I'm going to be doing in the future, but this is the first one I'm doing. I have to do stuff that AI can't help you with. I don't see any way AI is going to help you guess how much money is here, but you're welcome to try. So be the first to win my sweet, sweet Satoshis. Until next time, this is Crypto Stu, signing off.